We're famous.
Hello!
Hi!
We are live! Hi, everybody! Okay, before I introduce us, I'm just going to talk a little bit about the mission of College Advising Corps and who we are. So we work with College Advising Corps as e-advisors. College Advising Corps specifically works to increase the number of low-income first-generation underrepresented high school students who enter and complete higher education. And the College Advising Corps e-advisors also work with College Point, another amazing college access organization. If you have any topics that you'd like to see us cover, please let us know in the comments. Please subscribe our channel and click the bell to get notified when we go live, because that's what we use this channel for mainly. And now we're going to get into some introductions before we start talking about scholarships. So hi, my name's Rachel. I am a second year e-advisor. I went to UNC Chapel Hill in North Carolina, where I majored in psychology and women's and gender studies, and I use she, her pronouns.
Hi, my name is Juliana Avery, and I'm a second-year e-advisor at the Chapel Hill office for College Advising Corps. I went to Guilford College and majored in political science with a minor in international studies, and I also use she, her pronouns.
Hi, I'm Kyle Walker. I'm a first-year e-advisor, and I graduated from UNC Chapel Hill in 2018 with a double major in global studies and anthropology, and I also use she, her pronouns.
Yay! Okay, so before we jump into scholarships and all the glory that is associated with them, we want to reiterate that the most important thing you can do to ensure you have an affordable financial aid package and college experience is to complete your financial aid forms as early as possible. Don't panic if you haven't done them yet, but make it a priority. Find a way to do an hour every day and get it done as soon as possible. That could be FAFSA, that could be the CSS profile, or it could be specific forms for schools. So just make sure you know what you need to do and you get it done. And your advisor's happy to help if you have questions about that, I promise. And you have to do the FAFSA every single year you're in school. So don't forget that. And then don't forget your password and your login information. And don't do it, because then you have to go through a whole process and it's not fun.
No.
So to start off, we're going to go a little bit over the process. So when you're looking for scholarships, we have a couple tools that we really recommend, like College Greenlight, College Board Scholarship Search Process, the JVL website, and Chegg. And just keep in mind that once you create an account on one of these sites or two of them, just stick with those, because I promise having an account on like 10 different scholarship search websites you're not going to find more scholarships. It's just going to be hard to keep track of what you're applying to. And we recognize that it can be really hectic and chaotic trying to keep track of what have I sent it in, when's the deadline, what's going on. And so a lot of times we recommend having a Google Sheet, which is a free resource you can have, and just keeping in mind, like, okay, what's the name of the scholarship? Where's the link? When is it due? What have I done? And that way you can keep everything in one place.
And if you don't like to do it online, you could easily just make it by pen and paper. Use a piece of paper if you prefer to do things like have a physical copy of it. But either way, you should be tracking the scholarships that you apply for.
Exactly. And following up, like if you don't hear from them, calling them and seeing what's going on. Schedule a meeting with your advisor. We love to talk about scholarships. It's one of our favorite things. It's one of the things we get asked about the most. And so we're happy to help you make a tracking tool, to send you more ones that are like specific to you. So just, we're a good resource. Use us. Also talk to your high school counselor. A lot of times they have a list of scholarships that students from your high school have typically received. And so that's a great person to go to and just be like, what do I do? And I know it seems like smaller local scholarships may not be a ton, but you have a higher probability of receiving them. And so that can stack up and end up being quite a lot. And when you're going through the application process with scholarships, keep in mind, unless it specifically says you cannot reuse other essays, you can do that. So you can use your Common App essays or other things you've written, like work smarter, not harder. And then along with that, like look for scholarships that have similar prompts, so that you're able to get multiple done with one essay. One of our most important tips is do not pay for access to scholarships. Don't pay for someone to find them for you. That's like a scam. Just don't do it. It's not the way.
No. If you need help finding scholarships, reach out to us. We will help you, and we won't ask you to pay for it.
So I'm going to go into some national scholarships and state and kind of guide you through that. So national scholarships. These are the most competitive scholarships. They're going to have a large pool of applicants that are applying, but they typically have the largest amounts of scholarship money given in the end. So that's why they're very popular. So the way to find them is basically search online. Or you can also talk to your advisor, guidance counselor. A lot of the deadlines have passed, but there are still some in the spring that you can definitely apply for. I know the Jackie Robinson is coming up on February 1st. The Hacer National Scholarship is February 5th. So it does not hurt to apply, but definitely don't put all your eggs in one basket. Don't, sometimes they take a long time to apply for scholarships. So don't stress yourself out if you don't have the time to apply for them. But definitely just do some research, see what you find. And then state scholarships. So with state scholarships, make sure you check your state financial aid and scholarships to see if you qualify. Definitely look up your state online on Google and just look at the scholarships that your state offer. Specific states might have separate applications to complete. For Texas, this could be the TASFA. For New York, the TAP. For North Carolina, it's the CFNC. And then also there are some websites that you can go on and just click on your state. There's collegescholarships.org and scholarships.com. You can look up scholarships by state. But also, many of these will be dispersed automatically as long as you complete your FAFSA. So again, complete your FAFSA. Make sure that is done. Okay, promise. Okay.
And if you're selected for verification for the FAFSA and a school requires an additional form, for example, a signed 1040 of a parent or guardian, do that as soon as possible because a school cannot make your complete financial aid package without those additional documents. You can find out if a school needs a document by logging onto your student portal and checking to see if you have anything that's like a red flag or incomplete. Okay, so that's everything for states. So I'm going to talk a little bit about local scholarships. So as Juliana had mentioned before, local scholarships are going to be the smallest dollar amount, but you're more likely to get local scholarships just by the nature of having less people apply to them, as opposed to the national scholarships where thousands upon thousands of applicants are applying. So a good place to start in applying for local scholarships is going to your high school guidance counselor. Not all, but a lot of high school guidance counselors have lists of scholarships that they have just compiled over the years in the nature of being a guidance counselor in your area of local organizations that person knows of. You can also maybe look at like the Y, Boys and Girls Club, local community centers, and see if any of places like those are giving away local scholarships. So that's really it for local scholarships. Let me know if you have any questions. I know that that's not very specific, but it will be different depending on where you live. Now I want to move on to sort of university scholarships and institutional aid. Okay, so a lot of times you will receive institutional aid, need-based aid. That is like automatic when you complete your FAFSA, right? But a lot of times universities have additional scholarships that you can apply for on top of need-based aid. Some of those schools you automatically apply when you submit your application, but that's not the case. So you really have to make sure that you are aware of whatever the process is for the schools that you're applying to. So the first place that you should start for universities is go to their website and just see if there's a merit-based scholarship. So like, UGA merit scholarships or departmental scholarships. So if, for example, you know what major you want, or you know that you're going to be in the College of Arts and Sciences or the College of Engineering, see if they have specific engineering scholarships. Like, for example, I know University of Michigan has like a specific STEM major scholarship. So engineering, sciences, biology, that type of thing. Merit-based scholarships are usually on the admissions or financial aid page. Students will be automatically considered for most of them, but there are a few that require that separate application, so you have to check and see. And yeah, that's really all for university aid. Let me know if you have any questions about university aid. Once again, it's going to be different for each college, which I know can be a lot and kind of draining, but that's why it's so important to keep track of all the scholarships you're applying for in whatever format works best for you.
And also you can reach out to the university's like financial aid office or admissions. Like when you don't understand something or something's confusing, call them. They're there to answer your questions. You're not bugging them. They are there for you.
Yes, it is their job.
Quite literally.
So getting more into specific scholarships. So surprisingly, there are a lot of specific scholarships for things that you might not know about. I know if you go to a JLV, they definitely have scholarships for people who are left-handed, if you're a twin, if you're African American, if you're Pacific Islander, there's so many, if you're vegetarian. So definitely check out the website if you have something unique about your identity and you want to see if there is a scholarship. I know they have a lot regarding sexuality, race, and just kind of unique things about yourself. So definitely check out their website, see what they offer. And then, so also, if you are a dreamer, not a U.S. citizen or a permanent resident, there are options for you. So definitely take a look at these resources that I'm about to go over, and they can include Immigrant Rising Undergraduate Scholarships. So this contains scholarships for undergraduate studies that do not require proof of citizenship or legal residency. So definitely take a look at their website, see what they offer, see how you can apply. Another really good resource is Maldef Scholarship Guide, MALDEF. So it's a civil rights organization that supports next generation of civil rights advocates for the Latina community. That is also a great and massive resource that you can tap into to look for scholarships. Scholarshipsaz.org has some great resources. Dreamers Roadmap Scholarship List. It also has a free mobile app that helps undocumented students find scholarships to go to college. There's the Davis Putter Scholarship for student activists that will open in the spring, so keep a lookout for that deadline. And again, just JLV has a great resource for also all international students. So just go to JLV. It's wonderful. Go check out what they have. I bet there's something for everybody to apply to on there. So go browse around.
Okay, I'm going to talk a little bit about renewable versus non-renewable. So when you're applying to scholarships, you might see this word, this is renewable, or this is a non-renewable scholarship. What that means is if it's a non-renewable scholarship, you would only receive it for 1 year, right? If it says this is a $5,000 non-renewable scholarship, you will receive $5,000 to go to school for the 2020 to 2021 school year, and it will not be in your financial aid package for the 2021 to 2022 school year. So that's non-renewable. Renewable scholarship means that you can renew it. So let's say it's a $2,000 scholarship that you can renew twice. So that means that you would only get that money for 2 years of college, right? So it's just really important that you understand, like, how much money am I actually going to receive if I am the recipient of this scholarship? Is it renewable or is it non-renewable? So that's just something to think about.
You can also become eligible for more scholarships the longer you're in school. So I know my sophomore year, I got a theater scholarship because I had worked on one of the shows. And so being aware of asking your advisor once you're in college if there's anything you should be applying to, and being really
Yeah, scholarships can come after you apply to college. It does not have to be right before college. You can look for scholarships and apply all throughout your college career. So definitely look and see if they're renewable or if you can apply in a different year of college.
Yeah, no, that's very true. Hello, please ask those questions. Do you know of any scholarships primarily based on high SAT scores? Great question. I feel like the best place to look for that, Gabby, is going to be on this College Board scholarship search. So College Board Big Future, I'm going to type that in. Look up the Big Future scholarship search because it's like through the College Board's website. And there should be a filter, I would guess, for SAT, ACT scores. So yeah, I don't know of any off the top of my head, but also actually I can speak to one. If you have really high SAT scores, check out your school's merit-based scholarships. A lot of schools have a merit-based scholarship that's like, oh, you can get $5,000 or $10,000 if you have an SAT or ACT score over this amount. And sometimes you have to submit a separate application, and not all of them have closed. So check the schools you applied, see if any of them have merit-based scholarships that you would qualify for because of your SAT score. Okay, keep the questions coming if you have any. I'm going to talk a little bit about scholarship displacement. Okay, so some of you might have heard about this. We're mostly just talking about scholarship displacement for you to understand what it is, not to scare you off of applying to scholarships. So scholarship displacement happens when you get more scholarship money than the total cost of attendance of the school that you're attending. So for example, if you are a student who got into, let's say, Washington University in St. Louis, their cost of attendance is, I don't know, around $60,000. That's, I guess, an estimate, but it might be around there. And that is the total cost of attendance. Room and board, meal plan, tuition and fees, travel cost, personal expenses, total cost of attendance. And let's say they're giving you a grant for $55,000. So now you have a $5,000 gap, right? And let's say you win a scholarship, you get a scholarship for $10,000. So now you are technically receiving $65,000 to go to a school that costs $60,000. So sometimes what would happen, also you are required to report any outside scholarship money that you receive to the school that you attend. So schools will know about the scholarships that you're receiving. So basically what WashU would then do in that case is that they would they would basically lower some of the scholarships that they're giving you. So, for example, if they gave you a $55,000 grant, you got a $10,000 scholarship, they would reduce that grant by $5,000. But you would still be paying, like, you would still have enough money to cover the total cost of attendance. A lot of schools are very generous and they take away loans first. So if loans are included in your financial aid package, they would remove the loans first. But we want you to know that this can happen. It happens rarely. For example, out of my 212 students last year, one of my students was impacted by scholarship displacement. And I think she applied to over 25 or 30 scholarships. So you have to apply to a lot. But please don't be afraid of scholarship displacement, and also be ready to advocate for yourself in the financial aid office to make sure that they are taking away loans, student parent contribution, or work study before they take away your grant money. Anyways, yeah, that's all I have about scholarship displacement. Okay, so a couple of questions. Should I accept a scholarship for one school that I've been accepted to if I'm waiting on a decision from another preferred school? So I think that the answer to that question is going to be no. I think that you should wait. You should wait until you accept your admission to that school, because 99% of the time, the money that's offered to you, the scholarship money from the school, it's not going to go away, because the majority of schools, you're not going to have to make a decision until May 1st. And I don't think that they would offer you money and then take it away for absolutely no reason, unless something drastic happened, like your family wins the lottery or you had a drastic change in circumstance. So don't accept any scholarships yet. You should, because in accepting a scholarship, you might inadvertently accept admission to attend that school. So don't accept scholarship money yet. That's right.
I would definitely just wait. Don't let a college pressure you into choosing now. You definitely don't have to make a choice until May, unless it is early decision, obviously, and a binding decision. But yes, definitely take your time, see what you get, and then make an educated decision based on all packages.
Absolutely. Okay, should I take out loans, or is it best to stay away from them in the long run? Yari, that is a wonderful question. I think that there is a healthy amount of loans I say healthy. There is an amount of loans that you can take out that can be manageable for your future. And then there's also an amount that is too much. I believe that the national average of student loan debt is 31.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
1s and 7s look similar.
It's in the 30,000s.
Yeah, I usually tell my students, if you can graduate from college in 4 years with less than $35,000 of loans, it can be affordable. For example, to put it in perspective, I graduated with $25,000 in loans of student loans, and my monthly payment is $250 a month. So $250 is not horrible to pay.
And also, I have $26,000 in loans, and I have 0 base payment. But it depends on your income and circumstances after college. So
exactly. So Kaya has enrolled in something called income-based repayment. So her repayment plan is based on the current income that she is making. We can talk more about that with loans. Scott, I have a lot to say about loans. If you have loan questions, please let me know. Please ask your advisor. But anyways, I think if your gap is not more than $10,000 a year, I think it's okay to take out some loans.
And then make sure you're looking at the interest rate. So the federal loans typically have really good interest rates that are not taking advantage of you. Whereas if you do a private loan company, a lot of times they will take advantage of you and make you pay much more than you should be paying in the situation.
Exactly. So for example, the federal loans, the interest rate, it has to be between 3 and I believe 8% of an interest rate, because that is the federal regulation on student loans, versus if you took a loan out from a private bank, they don't have to follow the same rules. Okay, so how do you report outside scholarship money? Oh, Gabby, great question. A lot of times schools have forms, a form for you to send to their financial aid office. So I would see if there's also log onto your student portal. It might be online. If you can't find it, just call the financial aid office and say hey, I got this scholarship. How do I report it? Okay, but if it's less than $500, if it's if it's a $50 scholarship, I wouldn't worry about reporting that. If it's greater than $500, I would worry about reporting those. Mm-hmm. And I would only do this to the school. Should I use before my school sent out financial aid packages? No, wait until you get your financial aid package.
What if I am in the 12th grade second semester and I am in a tough spot because I have not done my part to apply to college and scholarships? What do I do in this situation?
So a lot of schools have rolling deadlines, which means that they are it's not January 1st and then it's done. So you can apply up to March in some cases. And so I think talking with your advisor or just Googling colleges with rolling deadlines and then making a plan from there. It it's hard when you realize that you've passed a lot of deadlines, especially if there's schools that you wish you could go to. And taking a year and waiting sometimes isn't what you want to do. But if you don't like any of the schools with rolling deadlines, then that may be your best option.
So yeah, talk to your advisor. Not all schools' deadlines have passed. Like you said, that there are some that have rolling deadlines. I think some are due in February. I think some have a February 1st deadline.
Yeah.
So try message your advisor or just Google like colleges that are due February 1st, and see what you can do. It's not too late. At this point, I would say at this point, focus on applying to colleges and then focus on applying to scholarships.
Yes.
Colleges first, scholarships next.
Also, maybe like widen what you thought you wanted. Because if the schools that you initially were planning on applying to, the deadlines have passed and you can't do it, maybe open your mind up a little bit and think about, what if I went to school a little bit further away or a different place that I hadn't thought about? Because there are a lot of colleges out there and a lot of them are really good. So
true. Okay, what if you apply for scholarships that only apply to schools within New England and then end up going to a school outside of New England? So I would say, Victoria, in this situation, check to see what the scholarship rules are. For example, if you apply to so if I live in North Carolina, let's say I apply to a local scholarship and it says, in the rules of the scholarship, it says you can only use this scholarship at a public in-state North Carolina school. Well, that means if I go to a school out of state, that money doesn't come with me, right? So just check to see like what the rules are. I would say a lot of scholarships don't have rules like that. A lot of scholarships, you can take them to any college. So just check to see whether like really like what's going on in that situation. Hey y'all. Hey. How many scholarships should I apply to as a high school senior? As many as you can.
I do say don't stress yourself out. Do not like make yourself stress over this. But yes, if you have the time and you have the ability to do so, I say if you have time, apply.
Sometimes I think setting a goal for yourself can be really helpful. So saying, I want to apply to 10 scholarships this month. And so that means you're going to have to do 2 to 3 a week. And if you know that's what you have to do, then there's a better chance of it happening versus just being like, I'm going to apply to as many as possible because it's so ambiguous.
Yeah, you're right. Goal setting is important. But seriously, like you want a large quantity of scholarships in order to cast a wide net. Like I said, that I had one student last year who was affected by scholarship displacement. It was because she applied to so many scholarships. But then she only ended up getting like 3 or like 4 of like the ones that she applied to. Yeah. So goal setting is good though. Definitely set a goal. 10 a month I think is good. Or like I want to apply to 30 by April, anything like that. Is it better to take loans out from schools that offer loans to students or from loan companies? Okay. So I think first is the federal loan that's going to be offered to you, right? The Fed loan. So it's going to be from the federal government.
And it may look like it's from the school because it's in the financial aid package, but it's not. And there's 2 different ones. There's the subsidized and unsubsidized, and there's a different interest process with both of them.
Correct.
Which is extra confusing.
It really is. But ultimately, taking out federal and university loans is probably your better option. So do that first before going to private loan companies. If you do take out a university loan, you should ask them what the interest rate is, and also what is their policy. For example, for federal loans, you have a 6-month grace period after you graduate that you don't have to pay your loans back. Find out if that's the same for your university loan, because I know a lot of students really need that grace period while you're in the job search, trying to set up like start your career. And so you can't always pay immediately the day after you graduate.
I was going to say, the only university loans I would steer clear of is if it's a for-profit university.
Yes.
I would steer clear of those schools in general. But if they're offering you a loan, like I would, no.
Don't do it.
I would also just like to add, like, especially when you looking at university, but also looking at those private companies, if you are considering them, make sure you read their policy guidelines, their requirements, and then the fine print, make sure you read that and make sure you also see what their interest rate is because it could be higher than university loans. So definitely make sure, I know it's nitpicky, but make sure you know what you're signing up for.
Yes. I love how we have so many loan questions. We will talk about loans. Okay. So Gabby said, please talk more about loans and payment plans. I've had a lot of trouble finding information. Ani said, should I have my parents take out loans for me or can I take them out myself? And Carmen said, can I start paying my loans while in college? So number 1, you can start paying your loans while in college if you wish to do so. Number 2, your parent can sign on to take out a loan in conjunction with you. It's called a Parent Plus loan. That would be sort of your option after you've maxed out your federal loan. So every single student, if you submitted the FAFSA and if you're eligible to receive federal financial aid, has up to $5,500 that you can take out in loans for your first year of college. That's $5,500. It might be split up between subsidized and unsubsidized, but that's how much you have. If your gap is more than that and you need to take out more loans, then a Parent Plus loan could be the next option. Do you want to talk about that?
Yes. So
Okay.
my mom ended up, I submitted my FAFSA late and I got,
Oh no.
I had an EFC of 0 and I got no money for college. So I'm just going to stress, submit your FAFSA.
Yes.
And
Do it
so
now.
basically I'm $26,000 in debt. So, messed up, but trying to teach y'all. But yeah, so my mom ended up taking out $6,000 in a Parent Plus loan. And that is money that she has to pay back. And it's on her account. But it does add up to my total loans, but the interest rate might be a little higher for some Parent Plus loans. But also make sure you talk to your parents before you accept that loan, because if you just accept it, then that is their responsibility. Or it's under their name. And if they're not aware, or you did not talk about it, or they did not approve you to have them sign on to that loan, that's going to be a difficult conversation. So
also the thing about a Parent Plus loan is your parent has to be approved for it, and it's based on their credit score. Okay, so this is important because if a school comes with you and says you can get this $5,500 federal loans, that's a guarantee. Any student can get the $5,500 federal loans from the government. If they say, oh, and also you could take out a $2,000 Parent Plus loan, that's fully dependent on whether or not you apply and are accepted to get that much money based on your parents' credit score. So please talk to your parents, talk to us. We can talk to your parents and you at the same time.
Something else really important, I think that this is all alluding to, is that you want to make sure you're talking with your parents and your guardians about what they think they can contribute, if they're willing to take out loans, and not just assume that they're ready to do it. Because a lot of times they have things going on that they may not be communicating with you.
Right.
And you want to make sure that there's an open conversation, and advisors are happy to do that with you in a meeting if you want someone to kind of facilitate it. Also, oh no, where to go?
Let me talk about co-signing.
Yes,
so
go.
Parent Plus loan, it's in both your and your parent name. So they are your co-signer because you are likely 17, 18, don't have credit because that's what the system is. And you need credit to take out a loan unless it's a federal loan for college, because that's where we're at. But anyways, Gabby, we'll talk more about payment plans in a second for when you graduate. Okay, what about health insurance in college? Great question. Does that travel to you by state? Is it somehow incorporated into your tuition and fees? So health insurance is one of two options. You can either stay on your parents' health insurance if that is an option available to you, or you can pay for the insurance that the university offers you. I would check to see what's going to be cheaper, what's going to be less expensive. Also, what I would say is your insurance can travel with you across state lines, but you're going to need to find out will my campus health accept my health insurance?
Is it in network?
Is it in network? Is my health insurance, is my campus health in network with my healthcare plan? For most students that are going to an in-state public that have insurance that from their parents that are you're working in state, that generally is not an issue. But if you're going out of state, you should definitely call your school, find out, call the financial aid office, call the financial aid office, I think, or campus health.
Yeah.
Go.
I remembered my thing from earlier. So if in your financial aid package it has the Parent Plus loan, but your parent doesn't have the credit to take it out, you can call the financial aid office and appeal it and say, I can't take this. Is there any way you can give me more money? Sometimes you just have to write 2 paragraphs and send it to them. That's what I did when I was applying to school, and I ended up getting $3,000 in a scholarship that they had been saving for someone.
Yay.
So really, reaching out and taking every opportunity to advocate for yourself is really important and could save you thousands of dollars.
Also, yes, Shelby, thank you for your comment. If I receive money from scholarships while I'm in college and I've taken out loans, can I use the scholarship money to repay the loan? I would say if you're receiving scholarship in money, or if you're receiving scholarship money in college, don't take out loans, is my general advice.
If you already have loans, yes, but it also depends. Some scholarships have to be used towards something like academics or something, or tuition. If it's scholarship money that doesn't have a required intended use in the fine print, then yes, you can use it towards whatever, but make sure you see if you can use it for that sort of thing. And then if so, then yeah, I wouldn't see why not.
Okay. Do I have to report all scholarships even if they will be paid to me and not to the school? In general, yes.
Yes.
Can scholarships be used for funding for me to live off campus?
It depends on the
Yes, it
scholarship.
depends. Again, it depends on the scholarship. Loans can, because I
Loans
used
can.
my loans each semester. I got about $6,000 in loans,
Mhm.
and I would use that. I would put all of that in my savings account and use it for rent
Yep.
and food and stuff.
So if we are not qualified for the FAFSA, what are some alternate options to get money? I'm an international student, so I don't qualify. Right. Oh my gosh. Okay. So I would definitely check out JLV, the website, because they have a huge list for students that are going to be applying internationally. Also, gosh, we'll put this in the comments. Like, we'll after we finish the live, we'll put this in the description. Immigrants Rising is a really good resource to use. MALDEF, the MALDEF Scholarship Guide, is a really good resource to use. And the Dreamers Roadmap Scholarship List are really good to use. So I would say, yes, definitely apply to scholarships. Also, check out what your state laws are. For receiving state-based aid, because sometimes, like, I know California gives really good aid to international students who apply. So if you check that out.
Also, there are some schools that require the CSS profile, so you can fill that out even if you're an international student.
Yes.
And if they meet 100% of need, then the school itself will give you a package. So I think just being really vigilant in your research and looking for schools that are able to give you financial aid is a good tool.
I agree. Okay, Gabby, what are some good websites to find scholarships for or loan information? So at the beginning, we talked about College Greenlight, College Board's Big Future Scholarship Search, JLV, College Counseling Site, Chegg. God, we have many. We can post them in the comments. We'll post them in the description to the video. Also, wow, Shelby just sent Gabby 2 websites to use for scholarships. Thanks, Shelby. Okay, let's see. Is there a difference between grant and scholarship? A grant and a scholarship are both free money that you do not have to repay. It is just a difference in title, or name. So grant, free money; scholarship, free money; loan, money that you have to repay; work study, money that you earn that's not guaranteed. I'm currently in the process of getting dual citizenship. Will this help me get any money for college? Veronica, I would call your schools. And let them, the school, I would wait until you've been accepted and then call your schools and be like, hey, this is happening. And what can I do? Is this going to affect my financial aid package? Should I resubmit my financial aid? Because yes, that is a specific situation that I think each college is going to handle differently.
Yeah. I would also talk with your advisor.
Yes, talk with your advisor. Please reach out to them.
I remember, when I applied, I am a dual citizen, but I just applied using my U.S. information, and it was fine. So
cool. Is it better to go to a school where I can find work in the field and the career I want, or the school that gives me the most money but not the same work opportunities? Ooh, we're asking the right questions now. So you're definitely going to want to think about your return on investment, ROI. That's a term that my dad uses all the time. He's in business. So you can on collegescorecard.gov, you can find out what's the average salary that a person who graduates from this university is making 5 years after they graduate college. And you can even break it down by major. So I would check that, do some research, figure out what's the best option for me. But ultimately, I think that's a question of best fit. What is your best fit school? Where do you want to be? And how much are you willing to pay for that?
If it's a large gap, I would say that definitely needs to have some heavy consideration. If you're having to pay so much, definitely talk to your counselor about that. See if there are other options financially where you can get other scholarships. See if you can talk to that financial aid office if it's really not an option. But definitely talk with your advisor. They can give their professional opinion and walk you through, what will end up being the best option based on your wants and needs.
I also think, how confident are you that is the major that you want to pursue? Have you done an internship? Have you read up on what the classes are going to look like? Is there anything else that you're torn between? Because I know I went into school wanting to do a communications major and then realized I could only minor in it at Guilford. And I didn't even realize that political science existed. I didn't know that was a major because I didn't do my research. And so I think a lot of times what you think something is in your head isn't always what it is once you get there. And that's okay. Yeah. But if you turn down what could be a full ride to go somewhere and then you realize, oh, I don't actually want to do this.
Yeah.
that's not a situation you want to get yourself into.
Right. How many percentage of students like change their majors once
Over
in their
50%.
career?
It's over, yeah.
50%, over 50%.
I went in STEM, went into humanities in the end. So
Yeah, exactly.
can change in a heartbeat.
It can. So yeah, definitely consider your major, but please don't make that your end all be all, because you might change in your mind.
And also talk to your advisor. They can have a much longer, like more personalized conversation with you about what's
Yeah.
right. Because if you have had that experience and you know that's what you want,
Yeah,
it's something to consider.
it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Every person's journey is different.
Okay, if schools require the FAFSA, can I send them the CSS profile instead and let them know I'm not qualified for the FAFSA? Yes, if the school accepts the CSS profile. Not all schools will accept the CSS profile because some schools just don't require it, so they don't take it. Either way, though, you should let your schools know that you're not qualified for the FAFSA. Ask them if they have an alternative financial aid form for you to fill out, such as an international financial aid form. Some schools have that. Is Workstudy limited to students who applied to the FAFSA? Oh, yes. Okay, that's a great question. So, in addition to, so when you apply for the FAFSA, you can sort of get 3 different pools of money. You can be eligible for the Pell Grant, which is free money that you receive from the government. That federal loan that every single student who applies to the FAFSA is eligible for, the $5,500, and Workstudy. So yes, Workstudy is under the umbrella of the FAFSA, the federal aid. And basically how it would work is, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm almost positive that this is right. You would be eligible to receive however much money it says. Like, let's say you get $2,000 in Workstudy. That means that you have $2,000 that the federal government will give your college to pay you to work a job at your college for the course of the whole year. Is that right?
So
Okay.
I had Workstudy.
Okay.
So I had like 3,000 something. So basically what I had to do was UNC specifically had a website that they would give to you. So you have to talk to your college, see how they do this. And UNC sent me a website of jobs that, were eligible with Workstudy. And I found a job. I applied through this portal to a biology lab when I was in STEM and ended up working in a biology lab, and I was making like $10 an hour. And then it stops like as soon as you hit that limit. But I did not make $3,000 in a semester. Let's be real. I worked part-time. But if you do, then you can talk to your employer and see if there is a way to extend your job, just be employed through them, not through Workstudy. But that once you get there, your employer will know what to do, and you can talk to them about employment. You just might have to apply again.
Yeah.
And for a position.
You also can still have an on-campus job and not have a Workstudy. Like, you can totally apply for jobs on campus or even near campus. Like, I worked at Starbucks when I was in college, which wasn't on campus, but it was right beside campus. So it wasn't through my university. It was just a job.
You don't have to accept Workstudy.
That's also true. You don't have to. It's a smart idea too, but you don't have to. For renewable scholarships that give you money based on your intended major. Oh, but you end up changing your major. What happens? That is a great question. Okay, so you're going to have to look in the fine print, the details of that scholarship. And if it's not there, I would reach out to them and be like, what's going to happen if I change my major? My gut feeling is if it's based on the major and you change your major, that you would not no longer receive it. But that could be wrong.
Yeah, I also wonder if you changed it from a major to a minor, because you may have the credits to have it be a minor, and so then you technically would still be in the department. You may be able to keep it, and then if you're going to a school that meets like a certain percent of need, they will have to make up that even if you change your major. Yeah. So it depends on the school. You could also go to the financial aid office before you change your major and be like, I want to do this. What's going to happen to my financial aid package? Like, will this be affordable? But yeah, that is a sticky situation.
That's a good question. Gabby, yes, actually, the JLV website.
JLV,
they have scholarships.
Got your back.
So JLV has like identity-based and circumstance-based scholarships. So like scholarships for students who are survivors of a car accident, scholarships for students who want to go into the arts, scholarships for students that live in this state. So once again, JLV.
I promise you, it's so vast that we can't even speak to all that it offers, but
it's true.
Okay, so much.
Okay. Should I look into being an RA to save money on room and board? So I was an RA to save money on room and board because I couldn't stay at college if I didn't do it. And I loved it. I did it all 3 years. And I didn't realize it was a concept. So you're way ahead of me that you already know about it. But I think it's a really good opportunity because you get some professional development that you can put on your resume and you get a lot of leadership skills. Also, it depends on the school. Sometimes your meal plan is also included, which is great. Yes.
And sometimes
yes.
you even get a small stipend.
Yeah.
Like they'll cover your tuition and your obviously room and board and room and board and meal plan.
Yes. Yeah.
And then sometimes you might get a stipend on top of that.
Because there's also like a hierarchy with RAs, so
Yeah.
they end up having like a community assistant director RA, and so I got like $1,000 as a stipend my senior year because I was doing that position.
Woo.
But I also think it's a really great way to join your community and
Yeah.
to get to know new students who are coming in and help like be an active part of your school, which is I definitely recommend it. Think you should do it and talk to your RA when you get to college about it because I'm sure they want to spread the word.
A full ride. Correct me if I'm mistaken, that is full tuition and room and board.
So a full ride in general would mean covering the total cost of attendance.
Okay.
Tuition and fees, room and board, so both direct and indirect costs. A direct cost is what you're going to pay your school directly, tuition and fees, room and board, and a meal plan. Indirect costs are what you need to save the money for the indirect costs, but it's not going directly to the college. So paying for books, paying for travel to get to and from campus, whether or not that's driving, taking a bus, taking a train, taking a plane, or personal expenses. Obviously, like you're going to have a meal plan, but you're probably going to want to maybe eat out one time with a group of friends, like in a local place or getting ice cream or just personal expenses that come up. You might need money to print. You might need money for laundry.
Computer grant.
Yes, exactly. So that's generally what a school means when it says it gives you a full ride. But a lot of schools are misleading when they say that they're giving you a full ride. So they might say, we're giving you a full tuition scholarship, right? Or we're giving you a full ride and they're only covering tuition and fees. So that the details of your scholarship money will be clearly outlined in your award letter. And if you need help understanding your award letter, please reach out to your advisor. We have so much experience going over award letters and helping our students understand their award letters. But yes, Letitia, it can mean different things at different schools. But if a school gives you a full ride, it would be the full cost of attendance, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And thank you so much. I know scholarships that are dedicated in STEM fields in general are okay if you switch from one STEM major to another. Thank you. That is good to know. Okay, while we wait for any last questions, one thing that I do want to just say is that 99% of schools that that hopefully you've already applied to, or if not, you will apply to them soon, you have until May 1st to make your decision. So that means the entire month of February, March, April, and then May, you can make your decision. We strongly encourage you to wait until you hear back from all of your schools to compare your financial aid packages before you make a decision. Mm-hmm. And some colleges do sort of try to put pressure on you to accept their offer of admission because you're an amazing student. They really want you to come to their school. So they might say something in a way that's worded weird, such as, oh, you have a better chance at housing if you accept by February 15th, or you will get this money if you accept by this deadline. That is usually not the case. Like 99% of the time, you have until May 1st for every school. And like you have all the opportunities available to you. Housing, you'll still be able to sign up for classes. If housing is guaranteed for first years on campus, you'll have to live on campus as a first year. Anyway, so just like if a college is putting pressure on you to accept their offer of admission, please reach out to your advisor, please. Because if you're feeling nervous about it, we really want to make sure that like everything is okay. Okay. Does the EOF program really help you pay for everything in college? We are going to find out what that means, Jamie. EOF program. Let's find out. I've had some universities tell me that they've received my FAFSA and CSS, but on the student portal, it says that no financial aid data is available. So that means that your award letter is not ready yet, I think.
It usually takes a couple of weeks
Yeah.
After you receive admission. So if you received admission, I would say if you don't hear back within 3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks, definitely, reach out to your advisor or reach out to the financial aid office.
Yeah.
Because you might be missing something. Maybe you didn't submit FAFSA, maybe they didn't receive your CSS profile or something that you needed. So definitely reach out if you haven't heard back.
Or maybe you were selected for verification and you had to send a signed copy of your parents' 1040, but the 1040 wasn't signed, and so now they can't make your financial aid package and it needs to be signed.
Yeah, they don't always reach out to you in those situations, but I would say don't panic for, it takes them a couple of weeks to get that through their office. So I would say 3 to 4 weeks if you don't hear back. definitely give them a call and be like, yo, I didn't hear this.
Yeah.
What's going on?
For any schools that you've applied to early action or early decision, definitely. If you applied to schools early action in like November, you should start getting your award letters now.
Yeah.
For those schools.
Okay, so the Educational Opportunity Fund, EOF, which we were just talking about, is a state-funded program that helps pay the tuition. So that's not going to cover all of your fees. It could differ from state to state, and we have not looked at all the states. Full transparency. But I think it is a legit thing. I think it could really help you if you qualify for it.
So check it out. Check it out for your state. Any more questions?
Go New Jersey.
I think that was all that we had for scholarships in general. Also, reach out to your advisors. I know that we've been sending lots of scholarship stuff. We've been sending lots of scholarship stuff to you all because we know that it's hard and overwhelming and can feel like a lot. And so we want to be here to help you organize them, find ones for you to apply to. Just let us know that you need help.
And our next live is going to be specifically about understanding your award letter. And so talking through grants, scholarships, loans, work study, all that all over again, and kind of understanding what your full cost is going to look like. Yeah. So if you get more questions after you get your award letters, come back and we'll talk about it.
That's true. All right. I guess we'll give a couple more minutes for question, like a minute for any more questions. If not, it's been lovely having you. Thank you. Yes, Victoria. Thank you for being here. We hope that this was helpful. And also, when this video is posted, I will be sure to go back and copy the resources that we mentioned. So all the websites, the search sites that we would recommend using. Once again, please only use like 2 of the search sites. If you make an account on all 8, you're going to start getting the same scholarships recommended to you. Everybody.
Bye.